Good afternoon, Isabella Blake-Thomas. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you so much for having me. It is fantastic to be here.
I am extremely grateful with a very special appreciation for this moment. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing very well. I know this has taken us a little bit to try and plan. I mean, I had COVID, you were sick, I think we were working. I mean, I'm glad we were able to figure this out because I've been very excited.
Absolutely, because today is a new page of your journey, because there is a book for every of your project, the magic one from Kepler Dreams, or the Flowers Encyclopedia from the Green Balloon Club.
Yes, it's funny because literature has been tied a lot to my writing and my acting. I mean, I've always loved books. When I was younger, I remember moving house and all of my boxes as a kid were filled with books. So they weighed an absolute ton. And so being able to work on projects where I could use books, read books, projects based on books, I mean, as a bookworm, it was kind of a dream come true.
Isabella Blake-Thomas, not only you have this passion for literature and books, but there is also When the Zoo Closes.
So that book came about with my mum when I still lived in England, actually. That one was a fun kids story that we just decided to create because we thought there could also be a series with it. And that's something that I will probably work more on when I'm not working on film 24/7. But as of right now, that is a book that starts the series. So we're thinking maybe when the aquarium closes, what else? When the circus closes. I mean, actually, I don't believe in circuses, so it wouldn't be about animals, but it would maybe be like about the equipment. Maybe the equipment comes to life. So you've got when the zoo closes, when the aquarium closes, when the circus closes, and the trapeze comes to life. But I love writing as well, and we had an amazing illustrator for that story that really brought our visions to life, and I was able to create that with my mum.
And combining that with new Mexico adobe, and you have the perfect Blake-Thomas recipe for success.
Yes, exactly. Are you referring to Kepler's Dream or to Trust, Pray, Hope?
I think for both of them.
All of them? Okay, so Kepler's Dream was a project that actually, funnily enough, was shot at the same location that Trust, Pray, Hope was filmed at. So Kepler's Dream is a completely different story to Trust, Pray, Hope. Kepler's Dream is about a young girl who goes to stay with her grandmother in New Mexico, and she doesn't want to be there. Her mum is in hospital doing chemotherapy. Her dad is goodness knows where. And so this girl, Ella, she goes to stay at her grandmother's and she discovers this book about Kepler, the astronomer. And the story is her trying to find the book and return it to her grandmother because it was lost. Now, Trust, Pray, Hope, on the other hand, is a very dark story about human trafficking. And it follows a young girl called Hope. Actually, her middle name is Hope. Her first name is Tiffany. And she is kidnapped by these two teenagers that claim to be her friends and taken to a ranch. And unfortunately, she is kept there. And so the story follows her trying to escape. And she discovers other girls that have been there before her. And she realizes what a dangerous place she's in. But this is the amazing magic of film, is that both of those movies were filmed in the same house and on the same property. So it's amazing what production design can do.
This is amazing to see what production design can do.
Yeah.
And Isabella Blake-Thomas, let's imagine that you have a windows inside those New Mexico adobe. You are in the capacity to observe the stars because you may have a connection with the moon by being between a Libra and a Virgo.
I do. I am. I'm a cusp baby. My birthday's September 21st, so I'm Virgo and a Libra. Now, some people don't believe in cusps, but I personally do, because when you look at the actual explanations of a Libra and a Virgo, I would say I'm pretty much 50-50. I'm very fair, balanced, and equal like a Libra, but I'm also pretty much a perfectionist like a Virgo. So I think that ties into the same person, and that you get me.
And then we get you. Do you believe that we can actually reach the moon inside a hot air balloon?
Well, I would say we can reach the moon in the hot air balloon as long as it's the green balloon.
I would love to discuss about this television series that you did back when you were in England. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, definitely. So Green Balloon Club was my break into film, if you were. It was my first TV show, my first ever time on set, and I was 4 years old. So it was a big world for this little person to come into. But I mean, I got to go onto set every day with people that I wanted to hang out with. I was learning things every single day about the environment and the world around me, and I couldn't have asked for a better introduction to film. I was very fortunate to be around an incredible group of crew, an incredible director, and just an incredible team in general that were able to help raise me for that time I was on the show alongside my mum. And I would say a lot of my knowledge and thirst for knowledge has not only come from my mum, but coming from that show, because it really set me up for life.
It set you up for life. And I think that we should start with the name of your character, which is Lily Rose.
Yeah.
Very simply, because you love flowers, especially lilies and roses.
It's funny when I look back on clips of the show now and see myself at that age. I mean, I think it's cringeworthy for anyone to see themselves at 4 or 5, but for me, I know that lots of people saw me at age 4 or 5, so it's a little bit more embarrassing. But I remember with the character Lily Rose, I actually created the name myself. So when I was doing the audition process, they said to me, "What do you want your character to be?" And I went, Lily Rose. And in the spur of the moment, I'm not sure where I pulled that from. My middle name is actually Rose, so that might have been part of it, but I've always loved lilies, and my middle name is Rose, and I think I put 2 and 2 together and got 4.
And Isabella Blake-Thomas, putting Lily Rose aside, my personal favorite character is actually Ben. He's completely out of the box. And in the first episode, we can see him living outside in his wood house.
Yeah, I know. That show was incredible because not only were you following the cast, me and the one adult that we had, and then the other kids in the hot air balloon, but you're also following kids from the real world, and they're able to call in and show the world around them and explore. And I think that really had the same effect as the show Blue Peter. I'm not sure if you know that show, because they were able to incorporate real people into shows that they loved, which meant people wanting to watch the show to see if they got on it. And it was just a way of them not only getting views for production reasons, but just to include kids, you know, and get them excited about all this stuff that they were learning.
Absolutely. And from what I've understood, you can be part of the green air balloon and you could not be part of this team if you're stepping on buds. This is the worst possible things to do.
We are the Green Balloon Club. What is it? We love animals, plants and bugs. We love snails and slugs. We love them all, large and small. And we never ever step on bugs, 'cause we are the Green Balloon Club. Don't ask me how I remember that. I think it was just kind of drilled into my head at that age. You can see me in the videos really trying to follow along and make sure I don't forget what I'm doing and see me watching everyone else. But I loved learning that, and that was one of my first introductions to music, if you will.
Absolutely. I was just going to step on that subject because you just offered us a musical moment. Because that basis and all the songs that were composed by Paul Moselle is like the foundation for your musical legacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say that because I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I suppose you're right. That was my introduction to really singing and being comfortable singing. And as Lily Rose, I was able to be this character and perform these songs that did mean a lot to me. I mean, my song was It's Our World, and obviously I joined in on the others, but that one was really about Lily Rose. And I absolutely love doing that. And I think that definitely started me off to wanting to write and create music because I was around it at such a young age, not only with the TV show, but also with my love of musical theatre.
Isabella Blake-Thomas, as you just mentioned, that show was a sort of introduction for you in this environment. And I would love to know more about those early days, starting from Wandsworth, a district anchored by Old York Road.
Yeah, so I was born in Wandsworth and I grew up in London, and that was really my home for the first 10 years. I mean, I lived in North London for a year before I moved out to Los Angeles, and I've been here for 10, nearly 11 years now, and I absolutely love it here. But London was my start, and as you can tell, my accent's from there, and I've been fortunate enough not to lose the accent, and I think a big part of that is being around my mum and my friends from the UK as well.
That's incredible. The fact that you kept your accent, because we would normally assume that because you were moving to the USA at the very young age, that you would lose that accent.
Well, a lot of people ask me that. They're always very shocked to hear that I've lived here for 10 years because my accent is so strong. But I do attest a lot of it to actually being homeschooled and not having been in public school or private school and around the accents every single day. I was able to really keep my accent, and actually most of my family, if not all of them, are from the UK. And so hearing their accents as well was definitely a reason I was able to keep mine.
Absolutely. And Isabella Blake-Thomas, as you just mentioned just before, there is obviously the big screens to express yourself as an artist, but also, as you just mentioned before, the songs, and especially one of the first one that you wrote at age 13.
Yeah, my first song I wrote was actually a song I haven't released yet, but the first song I released was called Blame. And it really started off my little mini music career, and I'll call it a mini music career because for me it's not about wanting to make millions and millions of dollars. Sure, that would be nice, but I've always said that for me, music is about giving people something to connect to and to relate to. It wasn't about selling hundreds of thousands of millions of copies. It was about being able to connect to that one person sitting in their room listening to my Spotify. So I started out with Blame and then followed up with my debut EP either the same year or the following year. My years get a little bit messed up. I'm getting old here, Victor. But I followed up with my EP, and again, that was for me to give people something to relate to and to listen to. And even if they just related to one line, I was happy.
People were relating on more than one line. Were you mentioning concerning your first song, the secret one about thunderclouds?
Ah, yes, thunderclouds. That, we'll call it a song, sure. That was when I first started learning guitar. I picked up a guitar, and the first two chords I learned were a D chord, and then I don't even know what this one's called. It's a D, and then I added my pinky finger, and those were the first two chords I learned. And so my mum said, why don't you try and write a song? And so I sat down with a friend of mine and I wrote my first song, Thunderclouds. And I think that's a testament to how innocent I was at that age, because that was all I could write about was the bad weather, and the experiences that I write about in my other songs came after that. But Thunderclouds was when the hardest thing about a day would be if there wasn't sunshine, and I think that's a beautiful place to be in, and I look back and I remember that time fondly.
You remember that time fondly.
Yeah.
And Isabella Blake-Thomas, since the beginning, when I'm listening to you talking about your journey, I can feel that your mother is a very important person in your life. And even now, which is the person helping you, for example, recording right now, but also the person you are working with at the MDE, Mother and Daughter Entertainment.
So my mum is a huge part of my life, as you mentioned. She has been there with me and for me through everything, and I hope she would say the same about me. And we are a great team, and I don't just say that because she's currently sitting behind my camera. I say that because I mean it. We work very well together, we work very hard together, and we hold each other accountable for things, and we give each other criticism, and we tell each other the things and the the way with the truth, and that's how it should be as a team, you know? But I'm also very lucky because she's a great mum, and I don't take that for granted, because I wouldn't say it's hard to come by, but I'd say the relationship we have is hard to come by, and so I'm very much grateful for her and her support. And again, not just saying this because she's behind my camera, I genuinely mean all of it.
Absolutely. Isabella Blake-Thomas, she is giving you a lot of support. And for example, as being Princess January, she definitely, I assume, gave you feedbacks on that.
Well, with January in Secret Society, she was able to come up to Canada with me when we were filming, which I am very grateful for, because that shoot was very busy and very intense for me, because I was working for the first time as an adult. My hours were so long, and just to have that mum's support while I was up there, even if it was just something as small as getting me a Starbucks in the day, just whatever that was to help me really feel supported and grounded during that shoot, I was very, very grateful for. But with the character, I think we both enjoyed being able to be have me be royal and be a princess, and also be a villain. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it.
Absolutely. I saw that movies a couple of times because I recently discussed with Olivia Lillian Debol, which is one of your cast partner.
She is. I love Olivia to pieces. She's actually staying with me at the moment. She's not here right now. She's out, but she's actually staying with me in LA at the moment. So it's the first time I've seen her since before COVID, which is when I went to visit her in Australia. So it's really lovely to spend some time with her again and reminisce about all our fun and we had on set.
Absolutely. And Olivia Blake-Thomas, can you tell us a little bit more about your character as Princess January and how you are reflecting on her?
Yeah, so my character as January, she was a very interesting character to develop, because I didn't want to go about creating her in a way that seemed stereotypical for a villain. I didn't want to make her just seem evil for the sake of being evil. I wanted her to have motivation, and I was lucky enough that the writers had done a great job at giving her a very good baseline for that, and I worked very closely with our director, Anna Mastro, on really creating a character and a human behind January, because that's what makes all the great villains great. Whatever they're doing, they think it's for the right reasons, and they think it's for the good of the world or the good of the people, and those are the villains that everyone relates to and actually loves, because in a way I think we can all relate to wanting to do things for the right reasons and maybe not going about it in the right way. But January, not only was she a villain, she was also a very sweet and innocent girl. She was palace schooled in Luxembourg, as you hear when you first meet her. She has a twin brother who she does resent because he was the firstborn by 2 minutes. But overall, it was this beautiful creation of a human with her flaws and imperfections to create this very normal girl.
Absolutely, Isabella Blake-Thomas. And I believe that having that first step as an adult into that feature film called Secret Society of Second-Born Royals definitely gave you a lot of confidence for your upcoming project, especially for your contribution to Latigo Films.
Yeah, I work at Latigo as Director of Development, and it's a big weight on my shoulders and it's a lot of pressure and big shoes to fill, but I absolutely love it. I couldn't ask for a better day job, the one that pays the bills, because I'm getting to still do what I love. I'm getting to work on scripts, I'm getting to be creative, I'm getting to go on set. I mean, I'm really getting to do everything, and it's a great way for me to make more contacts in the industry and really build on those relationships as well that I've already developed as an actor.
Absolutely, Isabella Blake-Thomas. And if I understood correctly, inside this context, you were able in some of their feature film to actually sing, for example, for the original motion picture soundtrack of Just Swipe, with, for example, 2 songs. One called Don't Match Up to Me, and another one called I Love You, I Like You. I believe.
Yes, that is correct. Those songs were a lot of fun to write. I co-wrote them with an amazing songwriter and composer called Pete White, and I actually met Pete at a songwriting retreat a few years prior to writing the songs on Just Swipe. But we wrote those songs and we wanted them to have a feel of, one of them was Dear Future Husband by Meghan Trainor and the other was Single Ladies by Beyonce. So those were our influences on those songs, and we were able to create something really fun for the movie that I was fortunate enough to be in the opening credits and the end credits as well. But that movie itself was not only produced by Latigo, but also by the production company I run with my mum, Mother and Daughter Entertainment, which you did mention previously.
MDE will definitely part of your near future, I believe, more and more through the years. But in conclusion, what would you say would be your biggest project and way to express your creativity in the near future?
Well, I would say the biggest project in my near future is one that I'm actually filming in about a week and a half. There haven't been any press announcements about it yet, so I can't say the title or who else is in it other than me. But my mum is directing it. It's produced by MDE and by Latigo Films, and I actually wrote the screenplay for it. So this project has really become my baby, and I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. I can definitely tell you that. But I'm really excited to see it coming into fruition because I'm also producing it. So I'm able to be closing those cast deals and getting people attached and watching self-tapes. And I am so fortunate to be able to do this because I know it's a dream for so many people, as it has been for me for so many years.
And Isabella Blake-Thomas, if we are a little bit lucky, we can expect to have an original song made by you.
Absolutely. I know for a fact that I have some more music coming out soon. We should write a song together. I probably have some more music coming out in my next movie as well. And I know that there's a movie that Latigo shot this year called Murder at Hollow Creek, and I have a song in that one as well. So it's very exciting for my music career at the moment.
Thank you very much, Isabella Rose M. Blake-Thomas.
Thank you, found my full name. It's a long name. Rose Merson Blake-Thomas. That's my middle and last names. It's so complicated at this point. It's a lot of names. If I get married and change my last name, it's because I have too many.